All right, so let's make sure everyone knows how to use the chat. You guys, if you're able to, if you're on your cell phone, you should be able to just tap on the screen and some options should pop up and you'll see the chat function. Type in your first name. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Let's see what we get here in the chat. Tracy from North Kakalaki. Okay. Oh, Tracy, that's right. You were going through the hurricane, or no, not the hurricane, but the storm that was down there. I'm sorry to hear about that. And I hope that things are better now. Philadelphia. Okay, great. And you guys know I am from America, but I currently live in Thailand. Okay, Baton Rouge. Wonderful. Okay. All right, you guys. So, without further ado, I am going to go ahead and get started because I don't know if you guys know this about me or not, but I don't like wasting time. Wasting time is not something I am known for. So, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, thank you all so much for showing up to today's Fat Loss Masterclass. We've got a lot that we're going to cover in just a little bit of time. So while I'm talking to you about today's class, now is a good time to go ahead and grab some pen and paper, grab some notes, and get ready because you're going to be taking quite a few. So some of the things that we're going to be covering today. Before we talk about what we're going to be covering, I want to make sure that every single person here today is in the right place. So we've got some questions right here on the screen, and I want to make sure that you're in the right place. And you're going to know that you're in the right place if you want further progress in your weight loss journey. If you're someone who's just looking for the next answer, then this is not going to be the place for you, because you most likely have already been getting answers and you're not applying the information that you're getting. And I don't want this to be just another waste of your time. If you're someone who needs motivation to help you reach your goals, if you're on plateau or the numbers on the scale have stopped moving, you're in the right place. This is a webinar that's going to help you, a masterclass. If you're tired of making excuses for yourself, and if you need help with getting your life together, this is definitely a place for you. And most importantly, if you're willing and prepared to make a change in your daily habits, then this is definitely a place for you. So if you think that this is a place for you, type yes in the chat for me. Some of the things that we're going to talk about during today's masterclass are going to be uncomfortable for some of you. But I have to tell you that a lifestyle of leisure and a lifestyle of comfortability has gotten you to where you are. And if you expect any type of breakthrough, if you expect any type of change, I'm certainly the person to help you get there, but you're gonna have to not bullshit yourself and you're gonna have to not bullshit me. So let's all make that agreement as we continue throughout this masterclass, all right? All you have to do is just shake your head yes if you agree. All right. Now, what are we going to talk about in today's class? Today's learning objectives are going to be how to release weight. And when I say weight, I really mean fat. We're also going to talk about how and when to detoxify your body. We're going to talk about the importance of journaling your food and emotions, not just the food. You need to start learning how to tie in the emotions with the food that you're eating. We're going to talk about how to avoid body shaming. We'll then talk about portion control. We'll then segue into how to eat normal and stay on track. And then we'll end with talking about how to stay motivated even when the process seems slow. And then we'll end the entire class with a question and answer, and I have a special offer for you at the end of the class, all right? So before we get started with everything, I know that there are going to be some of you who see this and you don't know who I am. So let me take a second and tell you who I am. My name is Justin Brown. I'm a world traveler and a certified personal trainer. I'm also a published author. I have a passion for helping people succeed, and I have lost over 55 pounds of my own, and I've taught thousands of people around the world how they can do the same. So what I teach is from a personal standpoint, from someone who's been there and done that, and then I teach it from someone who does this professionally with having certificates and licenses from places like the Aveda Institute, ACE, and Precision Nutrition. So I use my professional licenses and certifications and my personal experience, and I create content and I create plans and programs that help people reach their goals faster. Because one of the things that was lacking during my weight loss journey was support and knowledge. You know, I knew what to do, but I didn't exactly know how to do it. And a lot of times I wasn't motivated. So that's why I decided to get into this and start creating programs. So I want you to think about that a little bit as we go through today's masterclass, because sometimes I say things that may make you feel uneasy or may raise an eyebrow. And when I say those things, remember, I've been there and done that. So I'm not trying to preach to the choir in a mean way. I just am passionate about what I do, and you have to get as passionate if you're going to succeed and improve your health and feel good naked. So before we start this class, let's take this opportunity to silence all of your electronic devices or turn off notifications on the device that you're using right now. Find a quiet area to listen to this master class and engage as much as possible. I've been telling you guys about the chat box because I want you to get familiar with typing in there. Type to one another, ask questions. As a matter of fact, it would be better if you go ahead and ask a question inside the chat box whenever you have it. Get it out of your head, and then at the end of this masterclass, I'll go back through all those questions and I'll make sure that I get it to you. If you have a question, use the on-screen buttons to raise your hand, and I'll call on you during the question and answer portion of the masterclass. Remember that there are no dumb questions, and everyone here is to learn, and everyone is here to learn together, so don't be bashful or shy. Your question may get someone else the answers that they need. Let's start class. Bam, write this down. How to release water weight. This is one of the things that people get misconstrued or they get confused about whenever they're on a fitness journey or whenever they're on a fat loss journey. There's a difference between water weight and fat weight. So let me read what's on the screen for you. A well-hydrated body is healthier and is less likely to retain water. Table salt is the most common cause of water retention. Excess sodium, which is the salt, makes the body hold extra fluids in the cells. When you cut down on salt and high sodium condiments, you can quickly lose water weight. Water weight. Manufacturers use sodium as a preservative to help keep their products on the shelf longer. The problem with this method of preserving food is how your body responds to the excess sodium. One mistake I see a lot of people make is trying to use a sauna to lose the excess body weight. This method only works as long as you stay hydrated, but as you reintroduce water to your lifestyle, your body weight immediately increases. Water is an essential component to a healthy lifestyle, so the more water you drink, the more your health will improve. A few things that you can do immediately to start losing or to start releasing the water weight are: you can start looking at nutrition labels and understanding what they mean. A lot of people have absolutely no idea what they're looking at when they look at their nutrition label. They look at the calories, they look at the carbohydrates, and they look at the serving size. They don't look at the amount of fat, they don't look at the amount of sodium or sugar, because most people don't know how. Because when you're looking at those nutrition labels, a lot of times that stuff is like reading hieroglyphics. okay? I speak one language. I speak American. And looking at the back of the and looking at the back of those nutrition labels sometimes it's like, what? What does that mean? Even as a nutritionist, sometimes I still get confused. So I don't expect the normal person to be able to decipher that. The Mayo Clinic reports that a sodium consumption of 2,300 milligrams per day for adults is recommended. Is recommended. If you are African American, age 51 or older, or have high blood pressure, diabetes, or chronic disease, that recommendation is lowered to 1,500 milligrams per day. Now, with that being said, how many of you in here right now know how much sodium you're ingesting every day? When I ask this question on my private questionnaires, most people tell me that they do not know. And when I ask this question, how do you know? The only way that most people know for sure that they're getting adequate amounts of nutrition is that they know that they're not eating anything with a nutrition label on it. Because if it has a nutrition label on it, it most likely has undergone some type of processing, some type of preservation process. And what you have to think of is that when something goes through a preservation process, those preservatives end up in your body and they preserve the fat on your body. So when something is loaded with sodium or it's loaded with salt, as we're talking about here, it's only preserving water on your body. And the more water that you have on you and the more toxins that you have on you, the more likely you are to disease and the less likely you are to fat loss. So let's continue on. You can try to limit the amount of eating out you do, since most restaurants use excessive amounts of sodium in their food without regard to your individual health. When you go out to eat a Cracker Barrel, they don't give a damn about Susan's high blood pressure. They don't care about Sarah's glaucoma. They don't care about those things. They care about making this food taste as good as it can to the masses. And what do the masses like? The masses like a lot of buttery taste. They like a lot of saltiness and they like a lot of sweetness because we've been overly exposed to those things. A lot of the candies and processed foods that we eat now are up to 4,000 times sweeter and 4,000 times saltier than natural salt and natural sugar. So when we ingest natural sugars and natural salts, we no longer like the way they taste because we're so used to this amplified version. So moving on down this slide, you can drink more water. At least half of your body weight in ounces of water is what I would recommend. You guys make sure you're taking these notes. Or 2 liters of water. Now that's going to be give or take depending on how sedentary you are with your lifestyle. Some people are more active, and if you're more active, then I recommend that you drink more water. If you are less active, you may want to drink a little less water. And the reasons for being less active may be dependent upon injury, it may be dependent upon job, it may be dependent upon age. But whatever it is, you want to make sure that you're hydrating your body well. And the more that you hydrate your body, the more you're going to be releasing water weight, believe it or not. The last thing on the list here is to avoid eating foods that are processed and come in a box or bag, with the exception of whole foods, like vegetables, beans, seeds, and nuts, with no added salt, lentils, and nuts with no added salt, lentils, legumes, and lean meat. Those are all little tips that you can start doing right now to start releasing the water weight. So, how and when to detox? How and when to detox? Our bodies are like sponges and they collect pollutants and toxins from the foods that we eat and the environments that we live in. Without properly detoxifying your body, you make it hard to lose fat and keep it off. There are a plethora of pills, diets, and teas that promise to help you detox and lose fat, but you don't really need those things, you guys. I'm telling you, you don't need ashes from the Dead Sea, okay? Leave all that Dead Sea salt alone. Stop drinking all of this unicorn piss because it will not work for you. No matter how concentrated they claim that stuff to be, or what part of the world they claim that those products came from, the truth about detoxifying your body is about to be unveiled to you right now. Get your pens ready. Get them ready. Why would anybody want to consider a detox? First of all, you may want to consider a detox if you're starting a new health and fitness journey, or you know that you've gone a prolonged period of time without adequately fueling your body or meeting your daily nutrient intake. So if you know that you have not been treating your body right, you know you've been out there living hard, it might be time for a detox. It might be time to slow that thing on down. Now, I don't recommend doing a detox every single time you binge eat because that's not really helping much if you're planning to binge again. Some people feel comfortable with doing a detox once a quarter with the changing of every season. You may also want to consider a detox if you have excessive body odor. Some of y'all stink. Some of you who have that atrocious odor after a workout, that's not always just body odor. Sometimes that's the food you're ingesting. Some of y'all, come on now, listen, I'm not even being funny now. Some of y'all know y'all got that funky coworker, that nasty coworker, or that dirty family member. Listen, if it's not filth, if it's not personal filth, because we know the difference between personal filth and you just stink, you just nasty. If they just stink, you might want to introduce this person to a quick detox or a punch in the throat. Whichever is going to be most effective in that situation for you. Now, extremely pungent bowel movements, dark urine, and sweat that stings your eyes, or skin rashes. These are all signs that you need to detox. Have you seen these people who have the dark circles around their neck? Not only are those people more prone to type 2 diabetes, and that is a sign of type 2 diabetes, but those people also need to detoxify their body because that's a clear sign that they have something going on in their bodies, and they are obviously ignoring what's going on. So let's talk more about detoxification, how and when to detox. The first step in detoxifying your body is to cut the sugar. Cut the sugar. Somebody say it with me. Say it with me. Say, cut the sugar. Cut the sugar. Now, cutting the sugar is not easy, and I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like it is because I know it's not. I have an approach when it comes to cutting things out of my life, and I like to just spearhead it. I like to just jump in head first and just cut that thing all off. So let's talk about sugar. The first step in detoxifying your body is cutting the sugar. Sugar can be toxic to your body and cause a whole host of other problems. So limiting the amount of unnatural processed sugar will start the detox journey. Remember how I just told you that sugars and salts, primarily sugars, are up to 4,000 times sweeter in these processed foods than they are in natural foods. And that's why a lot of you will eat, I'm just going to use a strawberry as an example, but you'll eat a strawberry and say, that's not very sweet, but then you'll go right over and drink some Kool-Aid and be completely okay with life. Kool-Aid is packed with sugar. It's because your body is used to having that rush of sugar. You're used to having that overexposure of sugar, and that's what you expect. That's what you look for. But if you can start slowly weaning your body off of that, you'll do good. Try this process. For those of you who are addicted to energy drinks or the really sugary soft drinks, if this is you, try this. Try to go for an entire week. Listen to me. See, look, I had you because you thought I was about to say go a whole week without it. That's not what I'm about to tell you to do. Calm down. I'm here for you. I want you to go a whole week and pay attention to the amount and the times that you're drinking or that you're eating these really heavily sugary substances. So let's just say it's Red Bull. Just use it as an example. It could be whatever. Fill in the blank. But if you know you're having a Red Bull every day at 2 p.m., okay, I want you to take a note of that for a whole entire week. And then that next week, I want you to start immediately thinking of how you could cut back at least half of that consumption. So if you have a Red Bull every single day, it shouldn't take you a whole week to realize your pattern. In fact, some of you already know your pattern. And if you already know your pattern, then you can start to implement right away. But some people are just not aware of their actions. But if you are aware of your actions, think of all of what you do in a week and just cut it in half. So if you have a Red Bull every single day, then I want you to just have one every other day. If you have 6 a day, then I want you to just cut back to having 3 a day. And then that next week, try to cut that consumption in half and then try to do it that way. That's a weaning process that has worked for a lot of people and is not as shocking to the body. Still gives people what they want and makes people feel like it's a reward for themselves. That's a little more sustainable. So try that and see if that helps for you. So your body has natural methods of detox. Sweating is one of those ways. So if you haven't been sweating, then now is the time to start. You can try exercise, steam rooms, sauna, or sex. The way that I sweat nowadays is just by watching the news. Everything Donald Trump says makes me break out in hives, makes me break out in sweat. I almost have a nervous breakdown. So that is actually how I managed to stay so thin. I got y'all on this masterclass to tell y'all that number one secret right there. Moving right along. You need to eat foods that are high in alkaline. A well-alkalized body is less susceptible to cancer and certain diseases and illnesses. You can find alkaline in aloe vera, dark green leafy vegetables, ginger, sweet potatoes, avocados, tomatoes, grapefruit, fresh coconut, lemon, wheatgrass, doggrass, almonds, sunflower seeds, flax oil, olive oil, radish, sprouts, spelt sprouts, herbal teas, and alkaline water are just a few of the alkaline sources. Why is it so important for you to have alkaline in your body? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me explain to you. The alkaline in your body helps to neutralize the amount of acid in your blood. So you have alkaline and acid. If you have too much acid, then your body becomes a breeding ground for illnesses, diseases, and cancers. It makes it harder for you to lose fat. It makes it harder for you to to sleep. It makes it harder for you to adequately improve your fitness. So the less acid that you have in your body, the better. Believe it or not, but a lot of the waters that we drink have acid in them. Coffee, acid. A lot of the processed foods that we ingest turn into acid once they enter our bloodstreams. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough alkaline in your body to neutralize that acid. Okay? Remember that if any of you have questions, you're able to type those questions in the chats, and I will get to those at the end of the masterclass. So, moving right along, and I hope you guys are still taking notes. How and when you detox. Still talking about detox because detoxing is really important to the fat loss journey. So drinking more water will help your body to flush out all toxins that you've been storing. If you are someone who has issues with drinking water, I recommend trying fruit-infused water. You can cut up fruit, put it in a gallon container, and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight to flavor the water. Do not use water enhancers like Neos, Crystal Light, Gatorade, or anything of the sort. The reason that I don't recommend using the reason that I don't recommend using any water enhancers like Neos, Crystal Light, Gatorade, or anything of the sort is because a lot of those water enhancers, even though they tell you on the label that they're artificial, they also tell you that they are enhanced. They also tell you that they're not natural. Furthermore, they'll tell you something that you believe, which is that they have zero sugar in them. Let me explain to you why these types of products get away with that. Because sugar has over 50 different names that it goes by in the industry. Over 50 names. Over 50 names. Do you know those 50 names? No, you do not. You know why you don't? Because I don't, and I'm a professional, and I do this every single day, and I don't know those names. I can't think of 50 people I like. I can't think of 50. I can't think of 50. And sugar has over 50 names. So while it may not have sugar in it, it's going to have properties of sugar or derivatives of sugar. Furthermore, it may even have aspartame in it. Aspartame is going to eat holes in your brain, and aspartame encourages your body to eat more of those simple carbohydrates, or to eat more of the simple sugars that end up feeding the candida, which is the bad bacteria that lives in your gut. And that bad bacteria is one of the things that triggers you into eating more sugar. So let's move on with what's on the slide. Juice detoxes are okay, but people go completely overboard with them. If you're going to use a juice detox, don't stay on a detox for more than 7 to 9 days, and listen to your body during that time. Some juicing machines completely separate the fiber from the juice that you're ingesting. Fiber is a necessary component in your diet because it helps to bind the waste in your body, and allows you to pass that waste out of your body during your bowel movement. Some juicing detoxes require that you avoid all solids during the detox. Others allow you to mix solids and liquids. Neither approach is wrong, but neither of them should be done for too long. And always remember that no juice is going to replace your daily nutritional needs. Understand that, get that clear, all right? Because a lot of these salesmen out here who are trying to sell y'all snake oil, who are trying to meet quota for the month, who are trying to get to the next level, are going to tell you that their Herbalife, their Slim Tea, their Plexus, their Slim Fast, their Jenny Craig Juice, their Hope Lemonade is the best unicorn piss on the market. And that this is what everybody is using to slim their waist. Don't you fall for that foolishness, because you just heard it here first. I've just taught you that the ultimate ways for you to start reversing fat and for you to start detoxifying your body are already in your cabinet. You already have these things, most likely: water, vegetables, clean food, all the things we've already been discussing. You don't need to fall for the snake oil. One of the other things that is going to launch people towards unparalleled levels of success is when you journal your process. How many of you in here right now keep a journal? If you keep a journal, type me. And if you don't, type me. Just type something on the screen. Here is why keeping a journal is important. Because anything that gets recorded gets documented, and it is then given an opportunity for improvement. You cannot rely on your brain to give you the most adequate, honest, truth, reliable advice all the time. You just can't. You can't. Let me tell you why. Because most of you think you eat healthy. Survey says that's an absolute lie. But in your brain, oh, you probably eat real healthy. That bite of salad that you had was like the most healthy thing you've eaten all year. And you don't even think about the fact that you washed it down with 2 hamburgers or two big double Macs and some fries. All you're focused on is that little healthy piece of salad you had. You see what your brain will do to you? Listen, most people need some type of accountability in order to reach their goals. Food journals not only keep people accountable, but they help to create a track record that they can help reflect on to see what's working and what's not. Keeping a detailed account of events can also help people highlight stressors and uncover things. Excuse me. Keeping a detailed account of events can also help people highlight stressors and uncover things about themselves that they may otherwise have overlooked. Here are a few things that your journal should include. You need to write these down. Y'all know, you better write these down. Here's what a successful journal is going to look like. 1, After you find a dedicated journal, you need to take a moment to go through it and write at least 50 motivational quotes at the top of each page. These quotes should be personal to your goals. You can use Google to curate a plethora of quotes. Also, only use one journal at a time. Don't try to keep a journal at work, a journal at home, a journal in the car, a journal at church. Just one journal that you keep with you. Keep it in your purse, keep it in your notebook, keep it in your backpack, keep it in your hand if you want to, whatever. But keep one something that you are able to write down the types of things that you eat, when you eat them, and most importantly, moving into tip number 2, you also want to keep a detailed account of what your emotional state is when you're eating. Are you stressed? Are you happy, sleepy, lonely, angry? If you keep a detailed account of what's going on with you mentally, you will start to unravel some revolutionary things that you had no idea that may have been happening for you. You'll start realizing a pattern that has developed that you may have been completely unaware of. Okay, let's keep going. Tip 3 is to log the types of food that you're eating and why. Are you eating a fast food? Are you eating fast food because you ran out of time on your lunch break and it was quick and convenient? Are you eating out of the vending machine at work because making a food choice was just too much for you today? You see, if you consistently notice that you keep making choices based out of fear or based out of ignorance, if you can highlight that, and then you can learn how to start making choices based out of knowledge, based out of education, you are so much more likely to succeed. But remember how we talked earlier that some people are just unaware of their actions. Some people are just unaware of the things that they're doing. So until people become aware of what they're doing, they're forever going to be in a cyclical loop of not seeing success. But for the people who are in this masterclass, you guys are getting the real blueprint of how to start seeing success. We've already talked about how to release the water weight. We've talked about how to detoxify your body, and now we're talking about journaling. Journaling for me has been the real mecca of how I've been able to succeed. So let's continue on. 4 is to log the times that you're eating so that you can look back and see if a pattern emerges. Maybe you've noticed that you get extremely hungry every day at 2 p.m. just before the boss is set to show up. Well, that may be a stressor that needs to be addressed in order to help you with staying on track. Maybe that was something you just didn't realize. 5 is to create a list of everything that you do want to accomplish from that day. Make a list of everything you want to accomplish on the day. So let's say today I want to drink a gallon of water. I would get even more specific with that and say, I won't check my Facebook today until I drink a gallon of water. I won't read my favorite book before I go to sleep tonight if I don't walk 2 miles after work today. Just little things like that. I know that some of that may sound really petty to you, but here's the thing. If you can start getting your body in the habit, getting your mind and your lifestyle in the habit of just those little bitty small wins, just those little bitty small bits of success, those small wins equate to a massive picture, a big picture, a giant picture. And that big picture looks like 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 70 pounds. Because the reality is that you didn't get here overnight. None of y'all just woke up where we were, me included. None of us just woke up like that. It was a gradual process to get there, and it's going to be a gradual process on the way back down. Let's move into tip 6. Make a list of everything that you do not want from the day. You do not want stress. You do not want to have to be at a dead-end job. You do not want to have to deal with people who are going to be rude to you. You do not want to be around people who are not going to be supportive to you. Believe it or not, but creating a list of what you don't want is going to help you focus on what you do want. I'm asking you to create 2 lists in your journal. This journal is going to get long, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes and you'll get into a flow. So this means that you're going to have to set some time out of your day to do this. That means waking up early or going to sleep late. But hey, these are your goals. How are you going to achieve them? Because what you're doing right now is clearly not working, or you're clearly not getting the results you want. So I'm giving you a blueprint. 7 is to write your 5 short-term goals every day. You want to write those short-term goals every single day and keep them in sight. A short-term goal could be something that you want to do within the next 2 months, the next 3 months. That could be a short-term goal. For some people, that may even be a medium-length goal. Maybe a shorter-term goal may be 10 days for some people. So what do you want to do within the next 10 days? Within the next 10 days, maybe you could set a goal that says you want to walk at least 2 miles every single day for the next 10 days. Maybe you want to drink a half gallon of water because you don't even drink a gallon normally. So maybe you want to drink a half gallon every single day for the next 10 days. Maybe in the next 10 days, you want to be down by a dress size. Maybe in the next 10 days, you want to have parked your car further from whatever your destination is and develop the habit of walking further. So if you go to Walmart every day, maybe you want to get in the habit of picking parking spots that are further away from the front door. So that way you challenge yourself to walk further. Just those little bitty goals, just those little bitty things equate to massive things. Number 8 of what you're going to be writing in your journal is why achieving these goals is important to you and what it would mean for you to achieve them soon. You all know that my motto is feel good naked. Because I do want people to feel good naked because I believe that's what most people want. But for some people, it's more than that. Some people want to avoid type 2 diabetes. Some people want to avoid death. Some people want to have more energy for their loved ones. Some people want to get further in their professional careers. Some people want to have a sex life. Some people want to have more energy for themselves. Some people just want to love themselves. So if you can write down why achieving these goals matters to you and be raw with yourself, be authentic, because at the reality, this is only you. You're the only person who can really make this thing work. I'm giving you the blueprint, but it's up to you how genuine you decide to get with this and how much of it you choose to make work for you. And you're not going to get anywhere by lying to yourself or me or anyone. So if you can really figure out why these goals matter, you're going to get somewhere. But it starts with journaling and figuring out through this process. And don't think that you're going to get to these answers immediately overnight. I don't expect any of you to perfect this journaling process overnight, but I do expect you to continue trying at it until you get it. Body shame. Type in the chat if you've ever experienced body shame. Type yes or no. I know that personally, I have experienced body shame. I told you guys before I started this masterclass that I used to be 55 pounds more than I am now. I have experienced body shame. I have experienced times when I didn't feel good in clothes, when I didn't want to go to the beach, when I didn't want to go shopping, when I couldn't find things in my size, when I was pissed off and upset that the smalls and mediums were taken. I've had those moments. How do you not body shame yourself? For the sake of time, we're not going to expound on every single one of these, but I do want you to take a moment to find some of the ones that you think may be appealing to you. And I want you to write them down. And I want you to just set them aside and visit these whenever you come back to your notes. And just think of how you can start implementing some of what you see on the screen right now into your life. So let's read these quickly. How to not body shame. One is to set daily small goals and don't rest until they're complete. Remember how we just talked about goals. Whatever those goals are, I mean, the goals can be anything because we all have different outcomes that we want for our lives. whatever it is. And if you need help setting goals, you can consider joining the JB Fit crew. We're constantly setting goals. We're constantly helping with this type of situation. 2 is to say daily positive affirmations. You need to daily affirm yourself and reaffirm yourself because you are worthy, you are good enough. Most of us can go an entire day without having anyone give us a compliment, without saying anything positive to us. But you are going to eventually have to become the only voice that you hear. There are going to be paths and things in your life that you have to do alone and solo. And you have to be strong enough to do it. Say those daily affirmations. Number 3 is to listen to motivation podcasts, CDs, tapes, and audiobooks. You can find those things for free on YouTube. You guys can go to youtube.com and type in motivation whatever, and you will be blown away by everybody on there teaching you about motivation. Some of my personal favorites are Justin Brown. That guy is pretty good. Les Brown. Les Brown is phenomenal. No relation to Justin Brown. None of that. Tony Robbins is good. Who else do I like? Okay, that's all I can think of right now. So, number 3. Remember that as long as you're alive, it's never too late. Remember that. As long as you're alive, it's never too late. 5 is to pace yourself and don't rush your progress. Remember that this is not this is a marathon. This is not a race to the finish. Your health is not a race to the finish because there is no finish. You never get to a point in your health where you can just give up. So you have to turn this into a lifestyle. 6 is to make detailed plans of action. Just going back to journaling. Number 7, place positive affirmations on your walls, mirror, and your food pantry. Everywhere you look, you need to reaffirm yourself of how wonderful, how amazing you are. No, that is not being conceited. No. That is reaffirming who you are. And some of us need to do that from time to time. 8, eat mood elevating foods. When you eat junk food, you feel like junk. 9, try to stay outside in nature as much as possible. Get some of that vitamin D in you. Get outside, walk in the park. Nobody's going to come snatch you up. It's okay to get outside from time to time. What are you afraid of? Get out there. 10, treat your body like a brand new Ferrari. Don't be putting unleaded fuel in a Ferrari. Do you know how much people would laugh at you if you would have put unleaded fuel in a Ferrari? Do you know what that would do to that car? Come on now. Treat your body like a brand new Ferrari. Stop putting junk in your body and expecting premium results. 11, don't allow previous attempts to succeed to overshadow new success. Did you hear what I said? Basically, what I said was to let the past go. Just because you may not have been successful with the last few attempts, just because the last few things may have gone awry, doesn't mean that things are going to go awry for you this time. So you need to start the slate clean, start over new, wake up new, stop holding on to the past. All the clients that I meet who tell me that, Justin, I have a track record for failing, I have a track record for not succeeding, I say, okay, that's fine. You have the chance, the opportunity right now to stop that. The fact that you keep saying it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen makes it happen. Here's some proof for you. I want you to type in this chat, yes or no. Do you believe that whatever you think about happens? Do you believe that you're able to manifest certain things with your thoughts? Yes or no? Type that in the chat. When I ask that question, I usually get an overwhelming yes, because those of us who have been alive long enough understand the power of thinking and what we focus on. So if you believe that so much, then why in the hell do you focus on all the negative things in this world that you do not want? Because what you focus on, you attract. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to focus on the positive things when you're surrounded by negativity and you have debt over here and you got bills over here and you got fat over here and you got negative family members over here. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that it's possible. I'm also telling you that it's required, and I'm also telling you that it's necessary to change your thinking, to stop focusing on the negative and put more of an inflection and put more of an emphasis on the positive. It's a requirement. You've got to learn how to do that. 12, don't allow comments from other people to throw you off course. They're most likely projecting their own destructive beliefs about themselves onto you. We all know that negative family member, that co-worker who tells you that you won't succeed. Let me tell you what those people are doing. Those people are regurgitating information, and those people are regurgitating things that they believe about themselves. But their reality does not have to be your reality. Just because they have given up on life, don't you let those people talk to you when you give up on life. Don't you let those people stop you from becoming the best person you can possibly become. If anyone had told me that by me losing my 55 pounds, I would inspire thousands of people around the world, I would be a worldwide traveler, I would have businesses, and I would be able to inspire even more people. If anyone had told me that, I would not have believed them. There is someone watching you. There is someone sitting in the shadows who is waiting on you to succeed. But they need to see you do it in order for them to be able to do it. I don't have to be the biggest flame in this universe, but I want to be the match that lights the spark. I at least want to spark the flame. I at least want to spark something in somebody. All of us have good within us. But you're never going to pull that good out if you don't go through this process that I've been laying out for you. What have we been talking about so far? We've been talking about releasing the weight. We've talked about detoxifying the body. We've talked about journaling. We've talked about body shaming. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about portion control. But continuing on with how to not body shame. Body shaming is often programmed, and it's something that we have to fight hard to retrain our brains against. This can take a lot of time, but it's not impossible to do. Become aware of any body shaming habits or thoughts as they occur and address the issues in the moment. If you notice that you're being hard on yourself, ask yourself the important question of why or what good is going to come from these thoughts. Remember that you get what you focus on. I cannot explain that to you enough. The power of the energy, you get what you focus on. If you focus on the zero balance in your bank account, that's all that's going to be there. You need to focus on solutions. You need to focus on financial literacy if that's the case. If you focus on how much fat is on your body, you're not going to be focusing on what's causing the fat to accumulate and what you can do now to start reversing the effects. Stop focusing on what you have right now in this moment and focus on what you want for your future. Let's talk a little bit about portion control. Most of us know that our portions are crazy. Y'all are eating all kind of craziness. The last time I was at the Cracker Barrel, it's been years. Last time I was in America, it's been, a year and a half now, 2 years. And the last time I was at a Cracker Barrel, I remember them bringing me out a chicken fried steak that was on a plate by itself. And it covered the whole plate. The chicken fried steak was so big, I thought it was for the whole table. I was like, what? That's a whole cow. That's a whole cow on my plate. I could not believe how big that deep fried chicken fried steak was. I was blown away. And it came with gravies and mashed potatoes and a biscuit. And I was like, I can't believe this. According to this portion size chart, the portion size for meat is about the size of the palm of your hand. A piece of meat should be about the size of the palm of your hand. With that being said, if my steak had a plate of its own, I would say that that is beyond the recommended portion size. Wouldn't you agree with that? That is beyond the portion size. If it's half the size of the plate, portion size says it's only half the size of my hand. That is insane. Listen, another good alternative is the size of a deck of cards. About the size of a deck of cards is the recommended size of meat. So look at what's on the screen and think of what you're eating in these quantities. When you eat a handful of nuts, how many of you grabbing a whole fist? Or are you just grabbing just a little bit? Like paying attention to those things, writing things down, journaling, becoming more familiar with your portions. Those are going to help you. Check out this next screen. This is what the average plate should look like. This is what your average plate should look like. 6 ounces of veggies, 4 ounces of grains, 4 ounces of fruit, and 2 to 3 ounces of healthy protein. And you can find protein in vegetables, so that healthy protein is quite optional. It could be fish, it could be rabbit, it could be hen, it could be pork, it could be monkey, it could be whatever you want it to be, kangaroo, ostrich, whatever kind of protein you want to get down with this animal. But remember, you do not have to eat animal protein in order to have a healthy lifestyle. All right. How to eat normal and stay on track. How to eat normal and stay on track. Food is not the problem. Your lack of food handling skills or your relationship with food is the problem. Here's what I recommend you do. For those of you who are on a new type of fat loss journey, for those of you who are actually going to apply what you've been learning from this masterclass, you don't really have to change your social style as much. What you need to do is to start eating before you go out. Eat before you go out. Simple as that. Eat before you go out. If you eat something healthy, delicious, and nutritious at home, when you get to the restaurant, whatever you order is, even if you order something unhealthy, you're less likely to finish it all. But my hope would be that you would stick to your healthy focus. When you go out to parties, use smaller plates. Use saucers at home. Don't use the big plates. You guys realize that plates today are about 40% bigger than they were back in the 1950s. How many of you have ever collected fine china, or your grandmother's or grandfather's china, or whatever? There's a reason that those plates are smaller and that they're bigger nowadays. The serving sizes have doubled since the 1950s. So if the serving sizes have doubled, they needed the plates to match the new size of the portions. So there's no wonder why our waists are expanding and our bank accounts are declining from health bills and shoveling out money for all these things that we don't have to, like expensive hospital bills and pills and type 2 diabetes medication and all these other things. 3, do not eat sugary or processed foods to hold you over. I know that whoever does the marketing at Snickers is a very brilliant person. They are brilliant because they have y'all believing that you can eat that sweet nougat caramel peanut filled candy bar and it'll just tide you over until you get to your next feeding frenzy. That is a sham from the pits of hell, and me and every other nutritionist knows it. And in the back of your mind, you know it too. You just like the way it sounds because it's something sweet and you see it publicly, you see it mainstream on everywhere, on all these billboards, on mainstream media, and it makes you feel good. That's a lie from the pits of hell, and I'm here to destroy your hopes and dreams. Listen, you gotta stop eating those sugary things if you expect to truly see success long term. If you plan ahead, you won't need that type of stuff. And yes, I'm talking about Cliff bars. I'm talking about all of these food bars, even the ones that have dried fruit in them. Why? Because that dried fruit is pure sugar. Leave them alone. All right, number 4, ask yourself what pleasure you're getting when you eat the wrong foods, only to complain about them later. You want to be, you want to get, you're happy that you're eating the Twinkies, but you're mad about the results you're getting from the Twinkies. So as you're eating the Twinkies, I want you to think to yourself, what benefit am I getting from this tomorrow? And I guarantee you, most of you are going to say none. And most of you are also going to have to start coming to the fact that you're emotional eaters and you're eating out of anxiety, you're eating out of stress, you're eating out of loneliness, you're eating out of heartbreak. You're eating food to fill a void. Food is supposed to fill your stomach. Food is not supposed to fill a void. All right, y'all. How to stay motivated when the process seems slow. Because the process will seem slow. After this, we're going to open up for some question and answer. I'll go through all of your questions, and then I'll give you guys a special offer. I want to thank you for being here in today's masterclass as well, but I want to end with teaching you how to stay motivated when the process seems slow. So for me, when I was losing my 55 pounds, I can guarantee you that there were days when I wanted to give up. There were things that I was not prepared for. I was not prepared for the cravings. I was not prepared for everything that it really took. So what caused my weight gain initially was that I was at a job that I did not like. And I had an ex who overdosed on drugs. So I had an ex who overdosed on drugs. I was in a job I didn't like. I had a family member who was very close to me who died in a very tragic accident. And I started carrying a lot of burden and a lot of stress, and it just started creeping up over time. And when I looked in the mirror one day, I just did not like the person who was standing back at me. I was like, this guy is not someone that I recognize, and this is not the person that I'm supposed to be. So instead of wallowing in my pity, I chose to start implementing strategies that I've talked to you about, that I've already talked to you here in this masterclass. I chose to start implementing strategies that I thought would make me the most successful and have. And throughout that time, I lost motivation. And fortunately for me, I've been able to work with thousands of clients around the world, and I've been able to build blueprints and build strategies for helping people overcome those stressful moments. Because when I first started this, I was looking at the scale every single day. But the more that I started learning, the more that I started surrounding myself with the right people and getting the right information, I started learning that that wasn't the right thing to do, that I needed to place the emphasis on feelings and emotions instead of what numbers and inches were telling me. Numbers and inches are good indicators, but energy and better sleep and a boost in confidence are much better. And the scale never told me those things. Once I started learning those types of ways of keeping myself motivated, my entire world changed. Here are some of the questions that I used to ask myself and still do. Because remember, I told you that a journey is ongoing. It's not like I've reached a point and then that's just it. I get to eat Twinkies, cupcakes, and pies all day. I still have to maintain what I've got. So I still have my moments. But here's some questions that you have to ask yourself. Why did you start in the first place? For me, I started because I know that within my heart of hearts, I know that I have to have the energy, I have to have the health for the world, because I am a teacher, I am a motivator, I am a speaker. People have to know who I am, and I have to be at my all-time optimal health in order to make that happen. And I know that the lifestyle of the average American is not a lifestyle that's going to get me to the levels that I want to be at. If I want to be up here having high time tea with Oprah, I've got to start making some bucks. And the average American is not going to be able to operate at the levels that I'm about to be operating at. But I have to have the energy and the mindset and the health in order to be able to operate at those levels. So that's why I got started. And that's what wakes me up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And that's what keeps me going. But what is it going to be for you? Is it going to be your children? Is it going to be maybe you want to level up in your job? Maybe you want to start attracting love. Maybe you want to feel better about yourself. What is it going to be for you? Another question is, what would it feel like for you to reach your goals? What would it feel like for you to finally look in the mirror and like the person staring back at you? For me, it meant everything. It meant that I was okay with not eating that greasy ass chicken. That meant that I was okay with telling my friends that I couldn't go out at night because I liked looking the way that I looked. I liked reaching my goals. I liked feeling successful. Are you kidding me? Knowing that I was the creator of my own happiness, of my own success, there is no feeling in the world that can take that from me. Nothing. No amount of money. No amount of money. Oprah couldn't buy my confidence because it's mine. I achieved this. What is it going to be for you? What would it feel like if you reached your goals? Do you have people around you who support you? For me, I did and I didn't. It was a mix. There were times in my life when I did, and there were times in my life when I did not. But that's an important question to ask yourself. And another question is, when was the last time you practiced self-care? When is the last time you took yourself on a date, or you took yourself to a nice movie or a dinner or whatever it is that you do to practice self-care? Go and get a massage. Go and get your hair and nails done. Go and get your car washed. Go and buy a new purse. Go and get you some new perfume. Your favorite artist's music on iTunes. When is the last time you did something for you? Because if you don't practice self-care, if you don't remember to love yourself, other people aren't exactly going to remember to love you either. Hello. We live in an obsessed world. And who are we obsessed with? Ourselves and reality superstars. You have to go out of your way to stay motivated by spending money on things that bring value to your life instead of wasting money on things that are irrelevant or go out of season fast. You also have to place a strong emphasis on changing your surroundings to help you become the person that you are desiring to become. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am just about to open up for some question and answer. But before I do that, I want to tell you about some special offers that I have that you guys are able to think about while we go through the question and answer. I've got 3 unique offers that I want to talk to you about. The first one is the JB Fit Crew exclusive membership group. I've got a brand new exclusive group that's going to be happening in October. And the new model is going to open you up to virtual workshops like we've got right here. You'll be getting templates, you'll be getting ebooks, you'll be getting tons of valuable information like you just received. And it's in its beta version right now, so nothing has been finalized. In fact, the people who join today are going to be able to get the beta pricing, and it locks you in at this particular price as long as the program goes on. And this is going to be a membership program. So it'll be month to month, and your rate that you get today will be something that you lock in. It's going to have 3 tiers, but you'll be locked in at the middle tier. And that price is $47.99. Now, with this, you're going to be getting virtual training. You'll be getting access to the Justin Brown Fitness app. And starting in, I believe, November, we'll start running monthly challenges that are right inside the Justin Brown Fitness app. So every single month, you guys are going to be getting over $1,100 worth of valuable content and valuable material. For the people who lock in their beta price, it'll be $47.99. Now, that's at the basic tier. We'll talk tiers later. I'm only opening up registration for the basic tier right now. The other 2 things I want to talk to you about are a custom training plan and a custom meal plan. The custom meal plan is what it is. For the people who have gone through today's masterclass and you know that your nutrition is not in order and you know that you want more out of life, you're ready to start eating better and learning the right things to do, I want to offer you a custom meal plan. The custom meal plan is a 4-week plan. It's designed for you and it's broken down in accordance to your lifestyle. So I'll design it around foods that you like and foods that you don't like. But obviously, since this is a lifestyle change, you're going to have to learn how to do things differently. But having a structured plan helps a lot of people. Now, those plans are usually $247, but for the people on today's masterclass, those plans are going to be $147. And then the custom training plan is a custom meal plan, and it's the custom Justin Brown fitness exercise plans. That plan is usually $347, but today it'll be $247. That plan comes with custom exercises and custom meal plan. The custom exercises are delivered via the Justin Brown Fitness app, and the exercises are modifiable, so anyone can do them. And because they're custom, I'm able to take into account if you have certain things, certain injuries, certain things that may be holding you back, and I'm able to try to work around them as best as I possibly can while still getting you the results that you want. So with that being said, I'm going to drop some links here in the chat for you. And then I'm going to go through and answer all of these questions for you. So the first link that I'm going to drop for you is going to be for those of you who want to take advantage of the JB Fit Crew member. You want to become a JB Fit Crew member. And then the second link is for those of you who want a custom meal plan. And finally, this third link that I'm sending will be for those of you who want that custom training plan. So now that I've got those links sent over, let me go back through and check all of these questions to make sure that I don't leave anyone out and I get everyone answered. It's a big difference. I have no idea how much sodium I intake. I work with Pigpen to cut the sugar. I don't know what that means. Oh, cut sugar. Okay. Oh no, not coffee. Yes, I've definitely experienced it. Okay, talking about body shame. Tracy says, great question. I needed this reminder. Thank you. When changing your eating habits, how do you handle cravings and withdrawals? Great question, Tracy. So when you're changing your eating habits, the way that I handle cravings and withdrawals is this. So one of the reasons that we have cravings, especially sugar cravings, is because we have something known as candida that lives in our gut. And candida is bad bacteria. Now, that bad bacteria feeds on itself, and it feeds on your stomach lining, and it causes your body to want more sugar. So if you can learn how to keep that candida at bay, how to keep it down, then you can decrease those sugar cravings. How do you keep candida down? Well, I'm glad you asked. You can start eating more foods that are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're vinegar, fermented foods help, like sauerkraut. You can use apple cider vinegar, maybe a teaspoon or two a day will be good for you. You can use pickles, that's good. Use balsamic vinegar and oil when you eat salads and things like that. So when you eat more fermented vegetables and fermented fruits, mainly vegetables, you want to eat vegetables because remember your fruits are going to have sugars in them, and the sugar is what's feeding the candida. So slowly weaning yourself off of the sugar the way that I recommended earlier in this masterclass, and trying your best to primarily eat sugars that are natural. And I would say that all of that together is going to help your candida. Also, when it comes to the cravings and withdrawals, you may also want to try a probiotic. Trying a probiotic. Get a probiotic that has 80 billion, I believe it's 80 billion live culture or more. You want something that has 80 billion live culture or more. The more culture that it has, the better. May says the weight of the protein is the 3 to 4 ounce. Is the three? Okay. Is the weight of the protein 3 to 4 ounces cooked? Yes. That is no. I'm sorry. That is usually a dry weight, so that is usually not cooked. No, 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 no. So 3 to 4 ounces uncooked, Meiji. I hope that answered your question. Yeah. So that's what I would do in terms of your cravings and withdrawals. Probiotic, eating foods that are more fermented, and ingesting more water, and slowly weaning yourself off of that sugar. So that slow process of analyze what you have in a week, cut that in half next week, cut that in half next week, and so on and so forth. And that's usually a good way of cutting things down. So that is the end of today's Fat Loss Masterclass. I really hope that you all have learned something. I hope that today has been beneficial for you. And I hope that you guys really, really took something away. I put these classes together in an effort of seeing people succeed. So I want to thank you all for sharing some of your time with me. Thank you for being here. And I will see you all I'll see you all online. Bye, guys.